before you can take out the enemy, first you need to find it. Tries to hide, the Global Hawk will do the job. It flies further, faster, and higher than any other UAV. On the battlefront, the enemy can be suppressed with a storm of bullets from this incredible new M48 machine gun.
Big round, big time firepower, big noise.
And to finish him off, there's a whole new generation of pinpoint accurate guided bombs ready and waiting. I'm Richard Mackwitz. I spent 10 years as a Navy SEAL. Now I'm searching for the smartest weapons that can seek you out and take you down.
Welcome to the world of the Predators.
In wartime, information is power. The more you have of it, the better. Where is the enemy? What is his strength? What are his movements? What equipment is he using? Is he hiding near innocent civilians? What is his next move?
Here's the problem. Information that was good 24 hours ago, maybe even a minute ago, may have changed, thus affecting the overall quality of your intel. To win in battle, you gotta keep your eye on the target.
The side that can gather the best intel is likely to be the victor. So I've come to the legendary Edwards Air Force Base in California to see the latest development in the battle to win the intelligence war. Meet Global Hawk. It's an all-seeing eye in the sky. There is no hiding from this weapon. It's an unmanned aircraft or UAV that flies an amazing 2 miles higher than any commercial airliner. Its job is to supply data anywhere within enemy territory, day or night, regardless of the weather.
We're on the leading edge of a tremendous revolution in terms of using unmanned aircraft.
Lieutenant Colonel Douglas W. Jackwish is in charge of testing Global Hawk.
I have a growing passion for what this capability does for us. It's providing a tremendous persistence in the global war on terror. I see unmanned aviation as the future for the United States Air Force.
Global Hawk is replacing the granddaddy of spy planes, the U-2. The U-2 is a manned, single-seat surveillance aircraft, and it's been in service since the 1950s. But Global Hawk is set to make the U-2 redundant. It's unmanned and operated from the ground. It can even be flown from the safety of a base back in the U.S. That means the days of risking a pilot's life in hostile territory are over.
It's kind of a virtual experience in flying, similar to what you'd experienced in a simulator, only you have to continue to put yourself into the reality that this is an actual aircraft costing multi-millions of dollars, and it's performing a vital mission.
A more recent spy-in-the-sky development is the Predator. This UAV spy plane that allegedly once tracked bin Laden, it's still a major player because it was modified to carry weapon systems. I already know that the Predator is a phenomenal aircraft. I tangled with it, and it hunted me down in the Mojave Desert. I had a 10-minute head start, giving the Predator a search area of 300 square miles, about the size of New York City.
We have positive ID.
And just how long did it take to catch me? The Predator hunted me down in less than 30 seconds.
Roger, we have the suspect.
That sucks.
But if you think that's impressive, it's nothing to Global Hawk. It can go higher, see further, and stay on duty longer.
If you want to play a game of hide and seek with Global Hawk, hate to tell you this, but you've already lost.
That's because Global Hawk has an unrivaled range of nearly 12,500 nautical miles. That means within a matter of hours, it can be anywhere on the planet.
With Global Hawk, you can get above 60,000 feet and see 300 miles around you. Say there's a vehicle you're interested in, you can take a closer look. No, you cannot read the license plate number, but you can tell what direction the vehicle is heading, the make and model, how many passengers are on board, whether they're male and female, and even what radio station they're listening to. Global Hawk goes a long way to setting up an introduction.
Global Hawk's ability to fly at high altitude is crucial where it's out of range from its enemies. The mighty Predator can fly at 30,000 feet, and that limitation was exposed in 2002 when Iraqi forces took one out. Operations engineer Lieutenant Kenneth D. LeBay knows all about the protection you can get from being 11 miles high.
Obviously, it doesn't provide me all protection. You might have a hostile fighter that may want to come and take you out, so to speak. But again, at altitude, at 60,000 feet, I'm traveling over 300 miles. If I know he's coming at me, I have plenty of time to maneuver and leave the area.
And when it reaches the target, the latest Global Hawk can stay on duty for up to 36 hours, all the time gathering crucial intel.
I want to be able to predict what's going to happen on the battle space. It's not good enough just to see what's happened, but to get to a position to see what may happen, to put all the clues together and forecast what the enemy's going to do. And the best way to do that is to be on station, constantly collecting.
And normally, that satellite dish is hidden under this giant bubble, right?
Yeah, it's normally where you place a cockpit for the pilot. That's the dish that carries the information, the imagery from Global Hawk back to the ground station where it's exploited. You can transmit that through satellites pretty much any place on the planet.
And there's enough space for that to move 360 all the way around?
Yep, it constantly tracks the satellite, constant feed of information, speed of light.
That feed of information is power. If you can see everything your enemy is doing in real time, you can concentrate your efforts into attacking the right spots with precisely the right weapons. Weapons like the JDAM precision-guided bomb. The Global Hawk can provide the JDAM with the exact GPS coordinates it needs to do the job.
It gives you a radar picture of hard objects. I can tell, say, a tank from a school bus, which is very important in battle. But it also gives me extremely precise coordinates, the kind of coordinates I need for precision bombing. Those details in themselves don't really tell a story. It's the combination of those details, that fused information, that gives you the best possible outcome of what's going on the ground.
Global Hawk is a future weapon that's still developing, but it's already proven itself in the field. For one thing, it was credited with the speedy defeat of the Iraqi Republican Guard.
During the invasion of Iraq, just one experimental Global Hawk targeted 40% of all of the armor in Iraq. This, despite flying only 3% of the total missions.
In all, thousands of images from Global Hawk played a key role in targeting Iraqi air defenses.
We've used the aircraft tremendously in the combat arena, and it's interfacing with the Army, with the Marines, with the Navy, and obviously with Air Force component commanders, taking imagery, providing that so that they can make near real-time decisions based on what changes they'll see from one day to another, or from one image to another image.
Global Hawk is already racking up the successes, and as the team behind it continues with their refinements, it will just get better and better. When this spy plane is on the prowl, trust me, you are being watched. Coming up,
our job is to kick the door in.
The remote-controlled mortar that's about to change the face of artillery. And later, I get to play with a new machine gun that's lightweight but powerful. The modern battlefield is a hunt that moves at breakneck speed. The faster and harder you attack, the more the enemy will be disoriented and overwhelmed.
The hallmarks of the hunt are to single out your prey, track it down, and kill it.
The U.S. Marine Corps are the masters of this fighting style.
As America's force in readiness, our job is to kick the door in, get across the proverbial beach as fast as we can with what we've got.
But advancing fast creates two tactical problems. One, you stretch your supply lines. And two, your artillery gets left behind. That can leave you vulnerable and cut off if the enemy launches a counterattack. So you need a weapon that's light enough to move fast, but big enough to do serious damage.
What we need to bring is something that's got enough punch to soften up the enemy defenses and let our Marines get to the objective.
The traditional solution is to use howitzers. But they're big, heavy, and need a lot of manpower. Even so, as recently as Desert Storm, this was the weapon of choice for medium-range artillery. I've come to the U.S. Marine Corps' War Fighting Lab in Quantico, Virginia, where I'm told there's been a major breakthrough. The Dragon is a mythical fire-breathing beast that could destroy anything in its path.
I found the modern incarnation of this legendary beast. It's fast, highly mobile, and ready to rain fire down on its prey. It's the Marine Corps' newest automated 120mm mortar system. They call it Dragonfire 2.
Rick Lindsay, former Marine and Vietnam vet, is the senior engineer behind the missile-breathing mobile mortar that is Dragonfire.
The more we've developed this, the more we've worked on it, the more we've experimented, the more we see the possibilities, we get pretty excited.
This experimental weapon system is so new, there's only one example of it in the entire world. And I've been granted a sneak preview. Dragonfire 2 is an automated mortar system. It's faster and more accurate than anything before. And it's designed to offer the flexibility of a mortar with the destructive power of a longer barreled howitzer.
It gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you that high-angle attack, that more effective landing of the projectile, but it also has the portability, utility, and the familiarity of a regular artillery weapon.
What's really going to make a difference is Dragonfire's revolutionary automation. Usually, it takes a whole crew to fire a big gun. They have to physically carry the shells and fire the weapon itself. A forward observer works with them. He sees the impact and directs the crew to readjust for the next assault. It's labor-intensive and time-consuming, and in the heat of battle, neither are good.
What major advantages do you get by automating this process?
Speed and precision, because that's what machines do best. Machines do repetitive process as well. And so what I'm doing is taking the human element out of it. Obviously, humans check it. But what it does is get the best possible solution and aim itself much, much more accurately than a human being can, and it does it very fast. And in artillery, it's extremely important to get a round off as quickly as you can, because when they're asking for that round, they want it right now. They don't want it 5 minutes from now, 3 minutes from now.
An old-fashioned howitzer would typically take at least a 4-man team 5 minutes to get up and running. But the Dragonfire takes just a fraction of that time.
What kind of speed are we talking about now with it sending out a mortar downrange?
Well, this Dragonfire of ours will receive a target, process, turn, load, and fire in 18 seconds in any direction. It's the difference between a conventional system takes well over 2 minutes. This takes, well, less than a third of a minute.
It's lighter, it's more mobile, you can do 360 degrees, and you get it out in 18 seconds or less.
Yes.
That's incredible.
And once up and running, it can fire 10 rounds per minute. That means you can hit the enemy again and again. He doesn't have time to recover or react. In fact, he doesn't stand a chance. There's an old Army saying that goes, if the enemy's in range, so are you. And that's why Dragonfire's creators have made it remote controlled. That means the soldiers can set it up, then get to a safe position while the enemy takes a pounding.
But you know, from being in the field yourself, that sometimes things break down.
Oh, yeah.
How do you bypass that automated process?
Well, this particular weapon has manual backups. In other words, it has hand cranks, it has a manual firing method. We can manually load it if anything breaks, and you can use a hand calculator for your computing system. So if you get way down to the primitive, this system can be aimed, even if it runs completely out of power, the computer breaks, anything. We can still shoot it. It just won't be as fast.
But awesome firepower and reliability are useless if a weapon is too heavy to take to the fight. Not a problem for Dragonfire. It can fit into aircraft and ships. It can even be put on the back of a truck. So wherever the Marines go, Dragonfire is right there with them.
It's designed to be more mobile, more portable, and more quickly employable than conventional artillery. You can actually have the Dragonfire, pull it in position, drop it down on its frame, have it ready to shoot in less than a minute. And it's ready to go.
Dragonfire 2 is one beast of the battlefield you don't want hunting you.
Coming up, a new machine gun that's giving special ops extra firepower in the hunt against insurgents. And it's small, but don't let that deceive you. This bomb can hunt you down, even if you're hiding under a bridge. When troops on the battlefield take enemy fire, they need to retaliate with something that lets the adversary know they're ready for business.
When you want to deliver a massive volume of firepower downrange, nothing beats the machine gun.
Big combat machine guns like the M2 are one of the military's best assets, but a big issue is they tend to be very heavy.
What we have here is a modern, updated version of the M2. It's a 50 caliber machine gun. It's a great weapon, but it's a heavy weapon. The weapon itself weighs a lot, the tripod weighs a lot, so it takes up to 3 people to operate. How do you give that capability to a single man? You give him a Mark 46. It's a lightweight machine gun that gives a single man the capability to deliver a massive volume of firepower.
The Mark 46 was designed by Belgian gun experts FN Herstal. It's been the machine gun of choice for the U.S. Special Operations Command since the year 2000. I've come to the Crucible Training Center near Fredericksburg, Virginia to play with the Mark 46 and its brand new buddy, the more powerful Mark 48.
The number one reason why you'd want a machine gun in a squad is volume of fire. You definitely want to create the impression that you're powerful, you're big, and you're able to deliver a lot of rounds downrange very, very quickly. That's what the Mark 46 can give you. And essentially what would happen is you're going downrange and you receive a contact. In other words, you're taking fire from someplace. First thing you're going to do normally is just drop on your belly. And because I'm a little lazy and I don't feel like getting a big mess over here, I'm just going to drop down to a knee. But essentially, boom, you drop down to a knee as soon as you take that contact, and you want to deliver rounds downrange in direction of that contact. And now, the beautiful thing about this is I've got another one of these in my squad with a bunch of other guys, and they're laying down fire, which gives me and my element a chance to get up off our feet, come forward. Okay, we're moving forward. We're keeping it going. We're keeping it going. I get to a place where it's nice and safe. I drop down to a knee. Boom. Once we get to a position and we really see what's going on here, this is when we decide whether we're going to move through the target. I can actually walk and fire. And that gives me a lot of benefits. That's why this is such a great weapon. In the case that, you know what? There's just too much firepower. There's too many guys. The beautiful thing is we can do the same thing in reverse. I come down, lay down a field of fire. What we're gonna do is leapfrog back. They're gonna provide fire for us. I'll fire a few times. Then I'll get up. We'll all race back to a certain position, get to a place where we're nice and safe. What I'll do is put a few more rounds downrange and allow those guys to come back. And they'll keep peeling back until we're safe.
In fact, the only minor limitation with this gun is it fires the NATO 5.56 round. With more and more combatants wearing body armor, special operations units have realized they want the stopping power of a much heavier round, the 7.62. And that's why Herstal had introduced a brand new version, the Mark 48. It's still a lightweight, man-portable machine gun, but it gives those special ops guys on the front line a much bigger punch. To show the difference in stopping power between the two machine guns, I prepared a little test.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, we're gonna see it for ourselves. What we've got right here is 1-inch thick acrylic block, 16 of them lined up very tight. First, we're gonna fire 5.56 NATO round, a small round, into this and see what happens. Then, we're gonna fire the 7.62 NATO round, which is a bigger round, and see what the result is. I'm curious to see just how many blocks the smaller caliber will actually penetrate. Let's go see the results. And there you have it. Look at that, that's pretty incredible. You definitely saw the impact. There's a lot of kinetic energy, but it only penetrated 2 blocks, just 2. And you can actually see over here, it's just beginning to touch. You can see a little bit of that kinetic energy was transferred to the 3rd block, but you only had a penetration of 2 blocks.
The smaller round has taken 2 blocks out.
I wonder what's gonna happen. Will this round penetrate deeper, or will the kinetic energy be so much that it'll actually push those rounds back with very little penetration? I don't know, but we're gonna find out.
Next, the awesome firepower of the brand new Mark 48 machine gun.
Big round, big time firepower, big noise.
And still to come, the latest version of a modern classic, the laser-guided JDAM. I'm in Virginia checking out the brand new Mark 48 machine gun. I've already seen its predecessor penetrate 2 acrylic blocks with a smaller round.
Now it's time to put the 7.62 caliber to the test. Oh, it's obvious. Look at that. Check that out. All right, you're safe. It's good. But look at that. Now, we bolted that in just as tight as we did with the 5.56 round. Now, whatever was in front of it, which was, I think, based on this wreckage over here, at least 2 blocks. You can see it penetrated 3 of these blocks right there, and was about to go through a 4th block, so it almost had double the penetration power. But more importantly, look at all the kinetic energy that was transferred into these blocks. Now you're giving the capability to one guy to deliver volumes of firepower with that knockdown kind of punch. And that's exactly what you want. Okay, I'm done with single rounds. Time to let it rip with some serious firepower.
Mind if I put a few rounds down range?
Go right ahead, help yourself.
All right.
Jim Sharp is Deputy Director of Training here at Crucible, and he's lined up a Mark 48 for me to play with.
Range is hot.
It has an average rate of fire of 730 rounds a minute and a range of 800 meters. And television doesn't do justice to the terrifying racket this beast makes. The noise itself managed to blow out 2 of our sound guys' mics.
That's pretty impressive. Lightweight weapon, shooting big caliber, like 7.62.
Very controllable.
Just the sound is intimidating.
And it's light, even at a couple pounds heavier than the old one, it's still better than its nearest rival.
The next counterpart for a 7.62 caliber is the M240, which weighs in at about 25 to 26 pounds, where the Mark 48 is approximately 18 to 18.3 pounds.
Troy Smith is Weapons Program Manager for Special Operations Forces. It's his job to make sure that the soldiers get the very best weapons for the job.
The Mark 48 is used in direct action, primarily the Navy SEALs, over the beach, out of the water type scenarios, and that's why we try to make these weapons as lightweight and as compact as possible.
And they've made sure that the new gun is very simple for the special ops soldier to use. The beautiful thing about the Mark 48 is it's engineered exactly the same as the Mark 46 machine gun. The butt assembly is exactly the same. The trigger assembly, exactly the same. The only slight difference is you're firing a bigger round, so you need a bigger bolt and a bigger barrel.
It all becomes muscle memory. There's no real thinking about it. Everything is in the same place, it operates in the same manner. The quicker that operator can get off a round, the better.
Another great feature with the Mark 48 is this right here. These are holding claws or paws that are designed to hold the round in place. You know when you close this, that round is in place and it's ready to fire. Ideally, a squad would have more than one Mark 48, so allow Jim and me to show you how it really works. When your squad has to go online and put rounds down range, fire supremacy is what it's all about. Having 2 of these in your squad goes a long way to sustaining that level, that volume of firepower. For the guys in the field, the Mark 48 is as close to a dream machine gun as they're gonna get. And for the enemy, it's their worst nightmare. Big bullets, big firepower, big noise. You definitely know it's coming. Next, who needs size when you've got smarts? The small diameter bomb is set to revolutionize precision bombing. And the latest version of a modern classic, the laser-guided JDAM. Nothing can strike fear into the heart of the enemy more than a squadron of bombers unleashing their deadly cargo. But whether the bombs hit their target or not, well, that's another matter. In Vietnam, the legendary B-52 was used for carpet bombing enemy territory. It was an effective tactic, but it's crude and devastating with lots of civilian casualties. But the bomb has evolved. During the first Gulf War in 1991, laser-guided and other smart bombs took up the fight, targeting the enemy with much greater precision.
Precision-guided munitions are not just about taking out a specific area, but about being so accurate, you can take out the front door of the building you're after.
Now, there's a future weapon on its way that's going to take the concept of smart bomb to a whole nother level. Conventional bombs are traditionally massive, weighing in at 500, 1,000, and even 2,000 pounds. It makes complete sense that a bigger bomb with a bigger blast produces a big result. But is it possible that a smaller bomb with a smaller blast can produce a better result? They call it focused lethality.
I've come to Eglin in Florida, one of the Air Force centers of excellence in bomb development and testing, to check out their recently fielded #1 priority weapon. This is the Small Diameter Bomb, more commonly known as SDB. It's small, but deadly accurate.
It's the newest precision-guided munition in the Air Force's inventory.
Dan Jaspering is the SDB's program manager and specializes in precision-guided weapons.
That's a very low collateral damage. You go in and very accurately strike a given target, destroy that target without risking damage to surrounding targets or buildings or people.
The small diameter bomb has been designed to hit within 6 feet of the target. Engineer Gary Rodenberg has 30 years' experience in guidance systems. He knows that this kind of accuracy is essential in modern warfare.
There's a lot of battle situations that we go into right now where you have to pass up the target because of concern that the large blast produced by most of the current weapons will damage so much property and injure so many innocent civilians around the target that you just have to pass them up and you can't even attack them. This gives you the capability to attack that target by providing low collateral damage at the target area.
A single SDB weighs in at a mere 250 pounds. It's half the weight of the current smallest bomb. It's small enough to come in packages of 4. It can be fitted externally on an aircraft or in a bomb bay. With bombs this light, each aircraft can carry more of them than ever before. In fact, it quadruples their payload.
The ability to carry 4 of these on the weapon station allows the pilot to go out with a lot more targets in his mission.
These bombs can be dropped 40 miles from the target, keeping the aircraft well out of range of a possible counterattack. And once they're released, they can reach the enemy all by themselves.
Once in flight, free from the aircraft, the tail fins open up and then the wings deploy. And you've got a Diamondback wing that then comes out. You rapidly slow down, and in that slowing down process, you actually climb in altitude. And at that point, it does its flying. It's basically a glider, and it's using potential energy and lift from the wings to get to its target.
The bomb uses GPS to guide it, just like the sat-nav in your car. The coordinates for the target are programmed in either before the mission or even by the pilot during flight. As long as you're within 40 miles of the target, this bomb will do the job.
We could be going away from the target, release the weapon, and because it's GPS guided and because of the way it was designed, it will actually turn around and fly back to the target.
But it's not just its ability to find the target that makes the SDB so smart. It's how it blows up when it gets there.
The small diameter bomb is a very versatile weapon. Its mission profile can be changed in mid-flight through its adjustable fuse that allows it to perform the full gamut of bombing missions.
Its adjustable fuse means there are 3 different ways to detonate the bomb. In airburst mode, a sensor at the tip of the bomb works out its position and detonates at a set distance from the target, blasting shrapnel above the ground.
So if it's a particularly soft target like an antenna or something that's well above ground and you'd like to burst the warhead and take it out that way, you can do that.
The bomb can also detonate on impact. Or if the target is hidden in a bunker or under a bridge, the SDB can be set for a delayed detonation. This means it can penetrate more than 3 feet of reinforced concrete before doing its business.
The fuse in the back of the warhead case has an impact switch that senses the impact and can either detonate the explosive on impact or can delay off of that impact, so that if you're penetrating a hard target, it can delay until it's inside the structure before it detonates.
The SDB is designed to be compatible with every single fighter and bomber in the U.S. Air Force's inventory. And because of its lighter weight, it's even expected to work with a new generation of unmanned air vehicles like the Global Hawk, adding a lethal strike capability to the fleet of unmanned drones patrolling the skies over the world's hotspots. Make no mistake, this is a small weapon with a very big future. Accurate and deadly, it's a predator you don't want to mess with. But what if you needed to destroy a moving target like a tank? You're going to want the all-new laser-guided JDAM, next on Future Weapons. Weighing in at 250 pounds, the small diameter bomb can take out high-value targets with extreme accuracy. But sometimes you need the firepower only a big bomb can deliver. 2,000-pound bombs are commonplace and can do serious damage. But what about their accuracy? Dropping dumb bombs can be very hit and miss.
How do you take an inaccurate, dumb steel bomb and transform it into a weapon that will change the nature of bombing missions forever?
Give it a little high-tech help. This is JDAM, short for Joint Direct Attack Munition. It's a kit for bombs, enabling them to fly and hit targets accurately. Since its debut in 1999, it's been on virtually every fighter and bomber aircraft in the U.S. inventory, and it played a crucial role in the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan. For $20,000, you can strap a tail and some fins on the type of big bomb that has been in use since World War II and transform it into a sophisticated guided munition for the 21st century. John Harnagle is the JDAM program manager.
One of the beauties of the JDAM is its simplicity. The basic bomb body is provided by the United States government. Our kit is just a set of strakes, which allows it to fly. These effectively are the wings of the aircraft. And then the very back of the kit is where all the electronics are. You have a mission computer that controls everything. The bomb knows where it's at, it knows where its target is at, and it's just basically flying to that point over time.
For a pilot like Thomas Yager, all he needs is some GPS coordinates.
It used to be we dropped 500-pound bombs, and you're only as good as your radar, your aiming system. Whereas with a JDAM, if you have good coordinates, you can hit a target anywhere using those coordinates.
The JDAM comes in 3 basic sizes. This is small, 500 pounds. Then there's medium, 1,000 pounds. Then there's large, 2,000 pounds. That is a ton of trouble.
The JDAM is an unpowered bomb. It uses both altitude and airspeed to send it speeding to its target at a range of 10 nautical miles. But with faster fighter jets, its range can be even further.
With some of the newer aircraft, such as the F-22, they're actually going after supersonic releases of the JDAM and at relatively high altitudes, and they're achieving considerably longer range releases of the weapon.
A little bit further than 10 miles?
Way further than 10 miles.
And boy, is it accurate, hitting targets within 3 meters. The pilot doesn't even have to be pointing in the direction of the target. It really is fire and forget.
The big thing that it brings to the fight is the ability to drop without seeing the actual target. So if you put the coordinates in there and you're sure the coordinates are accurate and the system looks good, you can go ahead and release the weapon, and that's the big advancement that it really brought.
So it's an all-weather weapon.
Exactly.
With the right GPS coordinates, the JDAM has proven itself on accuracy, speed, and destructive power. But what if you don't have the right coordinates? Or what if your target is moving? Some of the most accurate targeting systems are laser-guided. A spotter on the ground or a pilot in the air simply points a laser at the target, and the missile blows it to pieces. Pilots love it. Simply aim, laze, and fire. But it has one major problem: the weather. The laser simply can't penetrate something like a sandstorm. No laser, no strike.
It was right after the start of the campaigns in Iraq and Afghanistan that we were hearing a lot from the warfighters that they needed the flexibility of laser and GPS weapon combined.
Scott Van Dyke headed the team who took on the challenge to improve JDAM.
When they started in Iraq and Afghanistan, essentially they were going out with mixed loadouts. They were going out with the laser-guided bomb, they were going out with the JDAM. And if they had clear weather, no problem, they could use the laser-guided bomb. And as long as they had good coordinates, they could use JDAM. But getting good coordinates sometimes can take time. And with the laser-guided bomb, you might have bad weather, so you can't use it. So what's happening is you're actually having to do more sorties, more missions.
They came up with a plan to take the trusted JDAM and increase its capabilities.
As you know, the Air Force and Navy both have bought, several thousands, large quantities of JDAMs. They have a 20-year shelf life. So this weapon's going to be in inventory a long time. It's on every single Air Force and Navy platform out there. And the idea is that you can increase the flexibility and capability of the weapon by simply installing the laser sensor or whatever modular capability you need in the field without having to change the basic tail kit.
A laser sensor was added to the front, and the laser JDAM was born. And the really cool thing about the laser JDAM is that it can now go after moving targets, a massive improvement on the original.
Now a pilot does not even have to have the coordinates As long as someone, say on the ground, says it could put a laser spot on the target, he can release the weapon. Or in most fighter aircraft today, they can find the target themselves and again designate the target with their own laser or a wingman's laser, and then go after the target in a very dynamic environment.
So you have a very effective weapon taken to another level and increased accuracy.
That's correct. That's the whole aim of the laser JDAM.
This is how it works. A laser designator spot is put onto the moving target, and its movements are tracked. The weapon sensors immediately pick up on this spot and locks on. Once released, it homes in and hunts it down.
The only requirement we have on the operator, whether it is a fixed target or a moving target, is they just keep the spot on the target. You don't have to lead the target or guess where the target's going to go. Essentially, we're using that information, that spot on the target, to not only continually compute where it's at, but where it's going. What's its heading? What's its speed? Is it maneuvering or not? And so we use that information to essentially intercept the target at impact.
The predatory laser JDAM gives fighter pilots the power to hunt down and destroy their targets with deadly ease and precision.